everybody. Welcome to the 95th episode of the Manor Podcast. I'm your co-host, Roger Bodee, joined as always with my best friend and other co-host, Michael Hamilton. Michael, I'm still in the land of the rising sun. It is Japan all around me still at this very moment. It's been a great time. I've had a blast. I loved it.
You fly home later today, right?
Yeah, my flight leaves at 5, and through the magic of time travel, I get home at 8. So it's really only like a 3-hour flight when you think about
it. Yeah. It's just a 3-hour flight that you'll be on for 18 hours or something. However long it is.
15 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Easy. Yeah, I'll probably try to get to the airport by 3. We're recording this at 9. I might try to go squeeze in Akihabara real quick. I don't know though. It's the one like Tokyo thing I didn't get a chance to do. I did a lot while I was here. But if not, do you want to go to Akihabara with me when we come back in the fall?
Should I know what that means? Is that
it's like the big anime district of Tokyo where like they have giant like stores that are filled with like anime goods and video game goods and stuff like that.
Okay, but it's in Tokyo and we're going to Osaka at the end of the year.
Yeah, but like we could do like a day in Tokyo on our way to Osaka, right?
Yeah, I'm a maybe for that.
Okay, sounds like I gotta find. Let's hurry up this podcast, and I gotta get to Akihabara. Okay. So we're talking about the Realm Games. They're great. They're sponsoring this podcast. Go give your money to Realm Games. Go register for the Realm Rumble, helping at what's the convention in Ohio? That's not Gen Con. It's the other one.
That's Origins. They're running an Alpha Clash
Origins Game Fair.
Origins. At the end of the
go sign up for that now. Even if you don't know how to play Alpha Clash, do it and learn how to play, and it'll be the best decision you've ever made in your life. Thank you.
You can pull Matt Cole's never played the game until the day before in top 4s. Okay.
Yeah, a new set will come out, and hopefully, have they announced that they'll do any bans before then?
I don't think there's any bans before then. I think
there should be bans before then, but. I'll send Ridge an email, a DM.
Okay, we will see how it shakes out with the new set cards, but yeah.
Okay, that's Alpha Clash. The only thing that we're talking about Zen.
Okay, we are talking about Zen today.
Say what you think now. Say what you think now. Think. I know. I want to hear your thoughts.
Clash?
These are your thoughts on your. Yeah. Go for it.
I think the only thing that's like. In the discussion to be banned, in my opinion, is the set 1 clash buffs, the 0 cost +2 +2 draw.
That's what I want gone. Yeah, get those out of here.
Cool. I think everything else is very preemptive to talk about banning, especially with the new set coming out. Or that I don't.
100%. But yeah,
is it released? I don't know.
I just want those clash buffs gone. That's all.
Okay. Flesh and Blood.
Zen. He's unplayable. Worst hero in the game. Actual unplayable hero. Dromai left, so LSS needed to print a new unplayable 0 tier. I guess it's not 0 tier because 0 tier implies the best in some circumstances. It's just pure F tier, F- tier hero, right?
Yeah, just like Dromai. We'll never see him win Pro Tour and then go into Living Legend.
Cool. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
I think
Thanks
for
watching,
good.
Everybody. I got to go get to Akihabara. Always remember the next time.
No, I actually think Zen is very good. Honestly, I think he might be the best ninja right now. So.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said that.
Why do you think he's bad, first off?
So his core gameplay loop involves having these cheat cards, and the cheat cards I don't feel like, I guess to use his hero ability you need the cheat cards, right? Otherwise he's just a blank text box, and why would you ever play him? And the cheat cards don't necessarily fit in with like the cohesive ninja game plan. At least not in first impression, because a lot of them are like draw a card and put a card on the bottom, or just like random effects that ninjas don't necessarily care about given their aggressive nature. So there's that, and then I don't know, like, given that like he's so focused around the Kakara, because he can't play Kadachis at that point then because he doesn't have zero cost cards. The cheat, I guess, are the cheat cards kind of zero? Yeah, yeah, they do. So I guess he could play
On the
Kadachis.
front, they're zero cost, but once you transcend them, they're no longer zero cost.
Yeah, so that's awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so like I guess like I don't know like what combo cards you're really doing in order to like make him better and more consistent than Katsu.
So I think the
So please
biggest reason to
enlighten me.
play I think the biggest reason to play Zen over Katsu is Katsu can't tutor his deck for a combo card unless he hits with an attack action. In a format where a lot of heroes have very good blocking armor, a lot of heroes are fairly, or at least somewhat reasonable at blocking. It can be really hard to hit the card when you need to as Katsu. Like let's say you lead on Surging Strike and they block it out, you don't have a Whelming Gust Wave or a Descendant Gust Wave to follow it up, then you just like kind of fizzle there if they just block out your Surging Strike some of the time. And you don't have that problem when you look at Zen's hero power, where you just pitch a chi and you can go get any card from your deck. So if you want to play Bonds in Zen, you can go get your Descendant or your Whelming Gust Wave, whichever one, and then continue on your line like normal because it doesn't matter if they block the Surging Strike basically. So
What
I think
blue? So are you playing
that
like blue surging strikes? Like what blue cards are you playing first in order to like flip your chi cards?
so that's a I'm not sure what all the blues you're playing are. I think you probably do end up playing some number of blue combo cards, especially because, like you mentioned, if you're not playing Kadachis, if you're playing the Tiger Taming Kakara, then you don't need to play zero costs blues to attack with your weapon with Go Again. You can just put any blues in your deck. So I think when we first were looking at the heroes, I talked about blue bonds. I think that one's not gonna flip your chi first, like early on, because you already need to play something else before you play bonds to do the thing. So you can't really rely on it as your main way to flip your transcend cards. But I think it probably fits in the deck pretty well if you're doing bonds line stuff. I think the Mystic also has access to really good blues. I think levels of enlightenment, the blue enlightened strike or blue chi strike is what I've heard it called. I think it's just like very, very, very good. Just if you have one blue in your pitch zone, it's a 1 for 3 that draws a card, or a 1 for 3 Go Again, or a 1 for 5. So it's a critical strike or a 1 for 3 Go Again, which is not great, but not too bad. And it turns on that you've played a blue clause thing. And one really interesting thing with levels of enlightenment in Zen specifically is if you pitch a blue and you play levels of enlightenment, you can respond to levels of enlightenment with a transcend card, play it, it'll transcend, and then you can pitch the chi to activate Zen's hero power. And then you'll have two blues in your pitch zone for levels of enlightenment. So you can get a 1 for 5 with Go Again, or a 1 for 3 draw a card with Go Again. And both of those are really, really powerful, and just I think is going to be a big part of what Zen's looking to do.
So you've spent 3 cards and you have a 1 for 5 go again. Like what are you comboing off this tutor then? Off
So,
your like
so
what do you what's the rest of your turn looking like?
you've really only spent two cards because the chi replaced itself when you activated Zen to go search your deck for whatever. You spent two cards and you're going to have two resources floating. So you're going to be able to uh, let's say you just attack for 5 with Go Again, and then you have two floating. You can use that two to swing the Tiger
Kakara.
Kakara weapon. Yeah, so that's two cards 7. The what's it called? The Crouching Tiger you got off it gets +1 from the Kakara, so that's 8, 2 card 8, and then whatever you get, you can get one of his cards that combos off of Crouching Tiger. Like you could go get your Tiger Swipe here, or your Key Unleashed and pitch another card to play that, or you get Pouncing Key, which is a 0 for 3 with combo of Crouching Tiger was the last attack this combat chain. It gets +1 and Go Again. So that's just another 0 for 4 Go Again after your Chi. You could get the Aspect of Tiger Bodee, which is another red attack. If a red attack, no, I guess Right. The crouching tigers aren't red, right? They're colorless. So that one doesn't
Yeah, they're
work. But
colorless. Hmm.
the rest of it does, and especially uh, I think there's also some very good majestics. Both Chase the Tail, it's a new 1 for 4. I think it's go again if the last stack was a crouching tiger, and if you play another crouching tiger this turn or this chain, it gets +3. So this is a 1 for 7 with go again if you can do 2 crouching tigers. Which, when Zen's hero power is giving you one of them, it's not that hard to find one more some other way. So I really think the numbers look really good. The fact that it's not reliant on hits to get this value is really good. You still have all of the tiger stuff that the kitty cat Katsu decks had before, and you got some really new cards, and your hero ability is much better than Katsu's when you're playing the cat cards because you're getting a free cat every time you do it, a free crouching tiger. So that was kind of a
Yeah.
long-winded way of saying I think Zen has a lot going for him, and I think there's going to be some pretty complicated puzzles to figure out exactly what card should be in your deck. But I do think he's very good.
So, do you think you're playing 12 petal Kasaya then? Kasaya, I think is how you pronounce it. The legendary chess piece that has instant pitch 3 chi or 3 chi destroyed. You have to destroy the chest in order to do that effect? Oh
To get the Zen
no.
State token.
What? That's
So,
horrible. I thought it was like repeatable.
well, a Zen State token is really, really powerful in some matchups. Like, imagine you're playing against a Viserai and you create a Zen State token and he's attacking you with 5 rune chance. That's just already negating 5 damage. And Zen State lasts for 2 turns. So, I I don't know if 12 petal Kasaya is going to be the chess that you want to play in every matchup. But if it's not, I would expect it to be a sideboard card because of how powerful it is against decks that are trying to do 1 damage a lot of times and just can't really beat a Zen State token. Um, the Whenever you transcend, you may gain a resource. There will be spots where it's good. I kind of think you might just want to play Tunic instead. Tunic's just very good in
Hmm.
general.
I,
Getting that one resource
that's a hot
whenever
take
you
if
need
I've
it
ever
every
heard
third
one.
turn. Yeah. So, but I'm not sure. It really depends how often you're transcending. If you're transcending like on average every other turn, then suddenly this chess piece is outproducing Tunic by a reasonable amount.
Yeah. I haven't played a lot of games of CC given this weekend was limited focus. The setups have been out for that long. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've been in Tokyo, but Tunic has
Yeah,
felt a little awkward to me in these Mystic heroes because so many of the new Mystic cards care about having a blue. They may cost 1, but they really only get good value when you have a blue card in your pitch. So there's a lot of circumstances where, like, sure, you could play like try to go like pitchless or try to cheat on these like resources or things like that, but it's not it's one of those situations where if you have a blue, you don't need Tunic as much, and when you don't have a blue, you need Tunic, but then you're not getting good rate on your cards. If that makes any sense, it's kind of like a dynamic I've been experiencing.
yeah. I think the best use of the Tunic resource is have turns where you can just spend 4 resources because especially in New, I think New has it the worst of the 3 heroes. Where New specifically your Hiss and your Venomous Bite, Venomous Strike. I don't remember what it's called.
Hmm.
The 1 for 3 attack reactions both require you to have a blue in your pitch zone to make the extra token reaction that they make. Where I don't think Zen has that problem nearly as much. I think Levels of Enlightenment, the card I talked about earlier, really wants you to have a blue in your pitch zone, preferably 2 when it resolves. But a lot of the other cards don't care as much.
That's fair. And I guess Enigma has a good amount of cards that care about having a blue in their pitch zone, right? The Mystic Illusionist cards all really need that to get their full value.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess a common, maybe not at Majestic. Maybe this doesn't apply to Majestic for a lot of the heroes, though.
Yeah. I I honestly haven't looked at Enigma as deeply yet. So uh that's why I kind of pushed to do Zen this week. I wasn't ready to do Enigma yet.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess, yeah, Enigma's commons all care about, or most of the commons care about having blue cards in the pitch zone, but the Majestics don't necessarily. So I guess if the best cards don't necessarily care about having that, that's probably something we should take a closer look at.
Yeah.
And then I guess like from a common thing that you like to do as well is look to see how like the hero plays in limited, and then kind of base classic constructed strategies around that. That's obviously how you came about your infamous Boolander list. And I didn't play a lot of Zen. I did draft him in top eight and immediately lost, but it was my first ever draft of the format, and I did learn a lot on it. So my opponent played really well, and it was a close game. I just couldn't get there in the end. But at least when I was drafting or thinking about building Zen decks and sealed, I really don't actually want a lot of transcend cards in the list overall. Like I think if you're like short on good transcend chi cards, that like Zen should probably go up in your priority list, especially in limited and maybe in CC as well. If you're not interested in committing as heavily to this and just kind of get like one or two setup turns based around it, because it's difficult to have like the blue card to play, the chi card, the combo, the base card, and then the combo cards. Like, I just feel like it needs a lot of setup pieces, and I don't know if Zen's juice is worth the squeeze. I guess still.
Yeah, I really do think it is, but that's mostly because Zen's ability kind of like it kind of gets two pieces of combo if you're getting a card that combos off the Crouching Tiger, and there's a lot of cards that do just combo off a Crouching Tiger. So I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, and his Sacred Art Jujutsu Kaisen domain expansion is really strong.
The
Uh,
Jade Tiger domain.
yeah. So obviously it's legendary, just like all the other cheat cards. You can only have one of it, but like when you get that off, it's really powerful.
Yeah, yeah, especially if you have
Uh,
a payoff. But oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
If you have a payoff for having Crouching Tigers in your hand, the biggest one is Tooth and Claw. It's a 0 for 4 attack action. It doesn't have combo, so you can't go get this one off your Zen ability. But it says when it attacks, you may reveal any number of Crouching Tigers from your hand. If you reveal one or more, it gets go again, so it becomes a 0 for 4 go again. If you reveal two or more, it gets +1. And if you reveal three or more, it draws a card. So if you resolve your Sacred Art Jade Tiger domain, and you also had a window to activate Zen because this transcends when you activate it if you pitched a blue or played a blue, then you can have three Crouching Tigers in your hand, play Tooth and Claw, get your 0 for 5 go again that draws a card, and then you can attack with your three Crouching Tigers that each have +1. It can be a really powerful turn.
Fair. Do you think so? As far as like Anthem effects, then you have this domain expansion, you have Art of War. What other cards are you looking to play then to like boost all of your tigers for the turn? I guess Roar of the Tiger is also a card, but that card doesn't have combo.
Yeah, I think Roar the Tiger, that's one that I'm not sure if it's good enough or not. It creates one Crouching Tiger in your hand, and then Crouching Tigers get +1 this turn. So if you just
And
play it by
hilariously, it would
itself,
actually be better if it was blue.
well, yeah, it'd be much
It's a
better if
yellow
it was
card.
blue because it would if it did the same thing and it was blue. Every yellow's like that. But it
Fair.
not turning on your transcend is a little awkward because then you need to have another way to transcend to activate Zen. But I think it might be good enough. The Crouching Tiger does go to your hand, so it helps your Tooth and Claw. And if you only need to play, if you play two more Crouching Tigers, you got great value from it. Playing three Crouching Tigers, getting your 0 for 3 go again, that helped enable your Crouching Tigers. If you only have one other Crouching Tiger, you get two value from this Roar of the Tiger, and it can also be turning on Shuko on a turn that you might not be able to turn on Shuko otherwise, so you can kind of get three value out of it. And it's a yellow, it blocks three. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's. I could see it not making the final cut. You mentioned
Yeah.
Art of War, and Art of War is a card that's been pretty common in ninjas, but I think Zen uses it the best again because of his hero power. You get to create a Crouching Tiger in your hand, and then you can banish the Crouching Tiger to the Art of War to banish it and draw two cards and get another effect. And that's just really good value because you're still getting you're basically trading your tree card for a card to banish to Art of War plus whatever the best combo card you could get is. So I think Zen's probably the best Art of War ninja because of that.
Interesting. So in the meta recently, we've been seeing Fi struggle greatly, and Katsu's kind of become the de facto ninja of the recent meta history. But even he has been struggling to really pick up like consistent or really positive results. Do you really think Zen is doing enough different to, I guess, I guess we talked about a lot about the differences between Katsu, but what about Fi?
So I think Fi is another ninja that doesn't really rely on hits that much. And Fi did win Worlds last year, which caught me off guard. I think it caught a lot of people
Uh-huh.
off guard.
Yeah, it caught everybody off
I
guard. And then
I'm
has
not
floundered and had one of the worst win percentages of any hero in the game since then, though.
yeah, I think that I think Fi is fine. I just I don't think his numbers are better than KO, and I think Zen's numbers are just going to be better than Fi's. When you look at how much value you're getting out of things,
Do you think
maybe
Zen's
if your
numbers are going to be better
opponents,
than KO's?
I think so, but I'm not. I think so because I guess a lot of KO's numbers are because his armor suite is so good. On top of having pretty solid numbers, I think
Mm,
Zen can definitely compete with that. If KO's are playing a lot of Arsenal Destruction, which mine my version of KO is on 6, and I think most KOs are on 6, and then the new card puts it to 9 if they the new Arsenal Destruction that hits attack actions that if they take damage, then they reveal their arsenal, and if it has power less than the amount of damage they took, it destroys it. I think that those cards are really good against Ninja in general, but Zen might be a little bit more resilient because no, I actually don't think Zen's more resilient to that than Katsu was. So we will see. I do think that Zen's less vulnerable to KO having a bunch of armor because he doesn't need his on hits to do the thing, which was a big part of Katsu's problem is you would be getting disrupted and taking damage, and then you'd go and they just block you with their armor, and then you took a bunch of damage to have a big turn, and you don't get to trigger your ability because of their strong armor. And Zen won't have that
yeah.
problem. So
To counterbalance it, though, Zen won't have access to Dishonor, which I think the other issue that ninjas traditionally have had and struggled up to without Dishonor lines, which is a lack of like meaningful on hits. It's just damage. So if you're just getting into damage races and
mhm.
your opponent disrupts you or is able to present more damage to you, you just kind of lose the game. But Dishonor at least created an interesting angle where if you just said no blocks, no blocks, no blocks, but you cared about your hero power, getting Dishonored is just game losing on the spot for many, many, many heroes in the game. But I don't, if we're not, you haven't really talked about this, but Zen's not really a Surging Strike Bonds line, is he?
uh
And if so, then like the
I don't
Tiger doesn't
know.
really make sense, right? That he gets off of his ability.
Well, I don't know if you should be surging strike bonds dishonoring and Zen. You can still play dishonor and Zen. You can still play the whole combo line. None of it's Katsu
Right.
specific. Only
Except for Lord of
the
the Wind
only
and
the
Mugenshi.
alternate
Yeah.
path. Yeah, Mugenshi, Lord of the Wind is Katsu specific, but that line's just worse than Bonds anyway, so nobody plays it. Or no one plays. I shouldn't say nobody plays it, but nobody plays it instead of Bonds. Sometimes they play it supplementing Bonds, basically. So
Sure.
if you want to be dishonoring in Zen, you can. Um, I do think that not having on hits is a vulnerability in some metagames, but against like a lot of the heroes that are good right now, like warriors and brutes, I've kind of talked about this that the on hits don't matter that much because they both have such strong armor suites. And then ninjas historically been pretty bad into guardians because guardians just have a bunch of armor to block out their on hits, and they have disruption too, which matters a lot. But Zen doesn't really have on hits. If you play Tiger Swipe, that's kind of the classic one. Then suddenly you do have an on hit that matters a lot. And if you play Dishonor and you're doing the combo line in a Dishonor, you can have that on hit. But I think just like going away from on hits, more like how Fi played when Fi was good, where you usually didn't have very many on hits, just snatch. But that was mostly because it was a solid 0 for 4 with significant upside. I think that's probably the way to go, is not being reliant on hits.
Yeah. And I haven't touched on that fact that he's probably still soft to Guardians as well. I don't think that's going to be as relevant, given that I don't think we're going to be upcoming onto a Guardian metagame. But I guess we can cover that in 2 weeks after we get through Enigma, and we can do a tier list. So yeah,
Yeah, the new and Enigma both look very good against Guardians, which is rough. Rough for our boy
yeah,
Bravo.
and Victor exists, I guess. So what aside from Guardian, then I guess though, what else do you see as being a problematic matchup for him?
So
Azalea? I
I
feel like
think,
he's just going to fold to Azalea, right?
well, probably he probably won't be great against Azalea. I think Katsu was actually pretty reasonable in Azalea. I think it was a pretty close matchup because they got to play 3 Warmongers and Azalea could never block out their on hits, so you always just got to trigger your hero power. I shouldn't say could never, but
Sure.
rarely blocked out your on hits. So a lot of the best ways to punish Azalea is having a lot of powerful on hits, and the way I believe you should probably build Zen is not focus on a lot of on hits. You can still play Warmonger's Diplomacy. I think it's still a good card, especially against Azalea. But I do think that
Yeah, but
matchup will
Warmongers
be
doesn't play very
probably
well with cheat
tough.
cards.
Yeah, it doesn't really have go again, so
Mm-mm.
that's that makes it tough. But you can like block with 2 cards or block with a card, do a couple things, play Warmonger's Arsenal, your cheat card, or maybe even if you have 3 blues you want to play, counting the Warmongers, you can do like play a blue, then play your Transcendent card, use your Zen power, your Zen hero power to go do the thing, and then end on Warmonger's Diplomacy. That's still an option, and that's part of why ninjas have been so good against decks that are weak to Warmonger's Diplomacy. Is their whole turn's not Warmongers. They do 3 things. You take a bunch of damage, keep your hand, and then you get Warmongers. Then now your hand doesn't work.
Yeah. And I guess you talked about armor suites as well, where he doesn't really have much better blocking armor than Katsu. I guess he has his own chess piece that can block too if he wants, and the Transverse the Universe as the two as like a different 2 block hat. But at this point, there's a million different 2 block hats in the game. Who really cares? But
Yeah, I do think
go ahead.
Traverse is pretty relevant. The fact that you get to block with it and then you also get your card out of it, it's kind of like similar to Balance of Justice, or it's kind of like a Lynx that you get a block 2 out of if you weren't going to be able to use Zen's hero power without it. So
Man,
that
Lynx is
also,
really
I
good though.
think,
So
yeah, but Lynx +2 is also is a very good spot to be in.
mhm.
So
So,
I don't know if it's
but
always
then
better than Lynx because you can only once per turn Zen, and the combo card goes to banish, so it's not like you can use Traverse on block with it on their turn, go get your chi, and then pitch it for your Zen hero power on their turn. You have to wait till your turn. So if you would have 2 chis after doing that, that makes it uh, worse than pouncing Lynx on your big go off turns.
yeah, PSA on that, where I think Matt Rogers got this wrong on a match that he was casting during the weekend. And during my battle harden, how I won with my, or not won, how I top aided with my unplayable, awful, horrendous pool was in one of my rounds, one of my Zen opponents played a bunch of chi cards on my turn, activated Zen's hero ability since it's an instant, and then tried to put a combo card that's a 3 block in his hand because he obviously had a bunch of chi cards and he didn't block. We'll get to that in a second. And he had already looked through his deck by the time I realized what I was doing and put the card in his hand and just kind of like, I didn't call a judge or anything like that, but like I kind of, we had little translation books and I pointed, I was like, Zen puts it into banish, you just don't get this card. So then he had a bunch of transcend effects and chi cards in his hand, but nothing to do with them, and just kind of lost the game by taking a million damage. I don't know if it really changes all that much, if even with the cheat cards or not, but it was just a PSA. The card goes to banish, does not go to your hand, and yeah, it's just do not try to resolve it differently than as it's printed. But I guess the point, the segue that I was trying to lead into off of that was since he doesn't have good blocking armor and he has all of these, he's still going to have a lot of the classic ninja 2 block cards in his deck. He's still going to have these chi cards, and both the transcend side and the chi side don't block. And I feel like he just has real issues into decks that are presenting on hits.
Yeah, I could definitely see him having issues in a deck presenting a lot of on hits. Though I will push back a little bit about his cards not blocking. Most of his cards that interact with Crouching Tigers actually do block for 3. So um, I actually think all of the attack actions that mention Crouching Tiger on them that are constructed playable block for 3. I might be missing one, but he
There's
does have a
Harmony of the Hunt. So he has the Mystic ones. Harmony of the Hunt that costs 1, which will probably be a mainstay in the deck. It's the 1 cost 3 go again. With this attacks, if you pitch a blue card this turn, create a Crouching Tiger in your hand, go again. That blocks for 2. There's the 2 cost one that attacks for 4, same effect, but I think it'll see a significantly less play because it attacks for, or because it costs um, 2 instead
2.
of 1, which
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 2 plus the 2 cost on Kakara is 4, which is clunky, but maybe it's a good way to use your Tunic resource. You do have Tiger Form Incantation, which is the non-attack action, which is basically like Harmony of the Hunt, but it's a non-attack action. That blocks for
Yep.
3. If you pitch a blue card, create a Crouching Tiger in your hand. Your next Crouching Tiger you play this turn gets +3 at red. So that card's very good.
Yeah, Harmony of the Hunt. I'm not sure if it'll see play. It's kind of like a bad Flame Call Awakening, but maybe there's room for a bad Flame Call Awakening to be good because Flame Call Awakening was quite good.
Yeah,
You
and
can
then if you
also
look at
it
the
also
other
gives
ways to
you lines
generate,
like
oh, go,
go ahead.
no, go, go.
Okay, it also has lines where you can pitch a blue, play Harmony of the Hunt, and then Art of War away that created Crouching Tiger there too. So Art of War looking very good in this deck.
Yeah. You have Blessing of Key if you want that effect, but it's a non-go again, non-attack action once again. And then all the ones at common in this set that create Crouching Tigers either care about hitting. So Biting Breeze, for example, is kind of like the head jab of this set for ninjas, where it's at red, it's a 0 for 3, block 2, go again. When it hits, create a Crouching Tiger in your banner zone. You may play it this turn. You have Breed Anger, which is a 1 for 4 combo when this attacks. If Crouching Tiger is last attacking on the combat chain, Breed Anger gets go again, and you create a Crouching Tiger in your Banish zone. So it cares about already having a Crouching Tiger, but then it's a block 3, 1 for 4 go again that creates another Crouching Tiger. So that's quite powerful. You have Flex Claws, which is the 1 for 4 on hit create the Crouching Tiger, also blocks 2. And yeah, like
I
most of the
was
effects
incorrect.
that create Crouching Tigers block too.
Yeah, I think aspect of Tiger, both the red and the blue, will probably both see play, and they block 3 and create Crouching Tigers if they follow up a red and blue attack respectively. But yeah, you're right. Most of the Crouching Tiger enablers in the new set at lower rarities block 2.
Yeah, and I was even looking to the cards not in the set. I guess you have Red Tiger Eye Reflex. That's the ambush block card that creates a. Oh, but that's just a 2 block blue. That card's not very good, eh? Yellow, then you don't want that. And I guess it also doesn't count as like playing a card for transcend purposes. So that seems like limited application.
Mm-hmm.
You have Predatory Streak, which
Yeah,
is a non-attack action that blocks too. Yeah, you just talked about that one. Yeah.
I do think that you want to rely on his hero power quite a bit to make Crouching Tigers. Shifting Winds of the Mystic Beast is a new majestic that is a blue block 3, and if you pitch to Chi to play it, you can create 2 Crouching Tigers. And whenever you play a Crouching Tiger this turn, you name a card, it gets that name. So that can like set up your bonds or any other combo card you want to use. I think
And
it's
you have
probably going
Mind
to be
State of
bonds, but
Tiger.
Um, which one's Mind State of
The,
Tiger?
it's the majestic 0 cost 3 block non-attack action. At the beginning of your turn, destroy mind state of the tiger. Create a crouching tiger in your hand. Oh, never mind. I thought it was more than one.
I don't think that one
Yeah,
will
never
end up
mind. That card's
being
not seeing play. I thought it was create
but
3.
I mean, there's a world where it sees play. If you're on like Kadachi's, you could like play it, but the fact that it doesn't have go again, so it doesn't work very well with your transcend stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good blues. There's a lot of the demand on your blues is pretty high when you have so many good blue options. Like how good a blue has to
yeah.
be playable.
On the
The
last
other
episode,
thing,
I was. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
the other thing I think that he'll probably want to use is he'll probably want to use one of the shoe options that creates a crouching tiger, because there's still not any great legs available for ninja. A lot of the time you see snapdragon scalers, or I think katsus are usually on breeze rider boots. I think Zen can just take this opportunity to slot in a crouching tiger on demand, either with the new boot stride of reprisal, that when they block with it you create a crouching tiger in your hand and it has blade break 1, or the old one pouncing paws, that is a battle worn one that you can, as an instant, you can destroy to create a crouching tiger in your banish zone that you can play this turn. Both of these seem like reasonable options to basically get access to an extra crouching tiger when you'll need it.
Fair. So after looking over the card pool again with you, I was open to having my mind changed on this one. If like you were going to point out something that I might have been missing, and you know, I still very well could be missing something. I'm not very smart, but when we just finished talking about new, I was like, oh man, new has all these sweet potential and applications, and I see how like this coherent game plan forms around like the blues, and like you get to play like a fatigue angle, and then you get to be disruptive and cool. Like all these new stealth cards are sweet, and I started to get 100 cards in my list. And I got to whittle my way down. This is a good spot to be in. And with Zen, it's the classic. Okay, I'm at 40 cards. What now? Kind of deck building. I feel like at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see. I believe Zen's going to be very good, but
Beat me up.
uh,
We'll have to do some playtesting soon, and you
yeah,
can
I'll have
beat
to
me up
try.
with Zen.
Yeah, I'll have to throw together a few different Zen lists. I've got a few ideas brewing in my head that I want to try out. So I feel like I listed a lot of the cards that I'm interested in. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Any final Zen thoughts before we wrap things up then?
No, I think I've said everything I have to say about Zen. I think he's a really cool hero. I think that he will be powerful. I think his ability not relying on hits means there will be a lot of meta games where he is definitely the go-to ninja, because you don't need on hits to do your powerful things. And yeah, I think Zen's good.
Cool. Well, the next time you're going to Akahabra, like I'm going to Akahabra right now, always remember, mind your manners. Thanks for watching. Bye.
MNR.